I hate how so many Americans don't have lives anymore. It feels like so many of my friends in the US that I grew up with don't really have a life outside of work. And when I say they don't have a life outside of work, I don't just mean that they don't get to do fun kid things anymore. I mean, a lot of them are unmarried, they're living with roommates, they're working so hard and more than 40 hours and still just barely getting by. They don't have time for anything besides work and resting from work. And even when they have time off, so many of them would rather just stay home and watch the latest series on some streaming service. Crank air conditioning up to the highest level in the summer, crank the heating up to the highest level in the winter, order DoorDash. Their life is their little island in their home, and their work is the other half of their life on the other island that they traverse across a sea of concrete with in their car. And that traversing back and forth, that's their life. This is not at all a condemnation of regular Americans or their life choices. I don't think any regular person is at fault for this. You did not put the policies in place that destroyed small town America and made big box stores overtake every small mom and pop shop. It's crazy. You go and you watch movies or television from like the 80s or before, and you see these shots of downtown in like small town America, and there's all these little mom and pops. Those don't exist anymore. So many towns these days lack the strip of little small businesses that you can go hop in and out of. I know there are some towns like this still, like upstate New York. I've seen quite a few in upstate Connecticut, but they're increasingly more rare. And simultaneously, it seems more rare for Americans to have jobs where they can have an affordable, comfortable standard of living from just one job and not have to get a second job. And of course, you also have the disappearance of the third place, places like church or community centers where Americans would congregate with their neighbors and socialize. It seems like socially, so many Americans are like getting backed into a corner where they're more isolated and they're poorer, and less of their money is going towards their own needs. And most of it is just going towards staying afloat, keeping their head above water, or soothing themselves from the stress and exhaustion of work. How can people in such a position be expected to have a family or have a loving relationship or build a future for themselves and for others? This really can't last.